Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. How are you all doing? I am going to turn the audio down. On my end, it's a little bit loud. Don't know what it's like you guys, but on my end, it's pretty loud, so I am going to make some edits to that. Just for the fact that I don't blow my eardrums out more than anything else. I think that's going to be better. So, today we are going to do a quick look. I'm going to do a live quick look. This was recommended by Voxy9C, so we're going to be doing this live because I thought, well, as well. And I tend to kind of more do the armchair couch gamer type talky, walky stuff and everything else as well. So I thought, might as well do it live. If we get some people that want to come and join us, that is absolutely great. And you're going to plan to kind of like do this stuff as well a lot more. So if you're watching this kind of later down the line, if you're kind of catching on to other stuff afterwards or things like that, yeah, drop a comment, recommend other games you want me to kind of have a look at and stuff, and I will kind of try and see and fit them in. I've got a couple I already want to kind of go through. I got one I want to do a long playthrough as well, but this kind of seemed like a more one to jump into and go through as well. So if I've had a few look over the Steam page and stuff, and they kind of describe the game as a roguelike deck builder and has unique classes and also does co-op and PvP, but I don't know how that's going to function with it. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I am not too sure how that's going to go down. But anyway, as we're going to jump straight in and we're just going to see how things go. So let's play. I mean, I know nothing of the game overall other than the fact that we're just kind of like jumping into it, so we're just going to go from there. So, tutorial, welcome to the Spirits. Your soul is shattered and your wrath remains. Can you survive against creatures of the Nether? Interesting. So we have a timeline. Cards are scheduled here and activate when they reach the bottom. Nice. Okay, so it's kind of like a my turn, their turn. So defending, attacking, and they alternate between them. That's kind of cool. Drag cards onto that. So we have a strike, which I can place on the timeline, I assume. Do I do two? Okay. And we can end turn. Okay, so we have energy here. We can cast stuff. Anything has one energy. That's kind of interesting. It's like the art style. It's kind of... There's a lot of detail into the character designs, actually. That's kind of cool. A bit of a shame that there's a lot of detail here, but there's not much in the background. Like, the foreground and stuff, like, yeah, like, that level of detail of the animation. So she can save up to 6. Oh, so I get 2 energy per turn, and you can save energy as well. How cool. So those need one to proceed. Play a block to reduce incoming damage. We can see what they're doing here. Okay, so we get an idea of what's ongoing with the cards. So we want to play a block. That's going to annoy me that I can't just like play them there. And then this is also... You can play that to attack as well. Actually, can I do that? Let's just have a little look. Graphics, resolution, text quality. Nothing on there. Gameplay. Measure speed, normal. I want to slow down the animation speed because they look really cool, and if it's just sound normal, they go really fast. Like even the fast seem quite fast. In combat phases, enemies will attack before me. Okay, so whatever they do, they attack. So in this case, reduces health damage, strike. So that's what we're doing to them. I need to strike more often. So this is my attack phase versus their attack phase. We can just end that. We don't need to worry about this. Slow cards is irrelevant. Use my slow. Okay. Choose a card to slow. That one. Select. And burn. Suffers 1 pure damage. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Okay, I think we got that. It's still there. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. Okay, I think I got an idea of how that goes. Why is that still there? You know, bugs in early builds, so always going to be fun to kind of just get around. I might see if I can just reset that then, if that is the case. Bear with me a second. Quit desktop. And we'll just get that redone, because that is very frustrating if that's going to be the case. I can forgive small little issues like that all the time. The main thing is, like, it's not release in the actual thing. Okay. And we're all back, so let's try this again. So, campaign, and we have then PvP and everything else as well. Solo or co-op, I guess we're going to do that. And let's see what we got here. What kind of life do you leave? Okay, so they got the male and female. Battle scarred. We have the coddled child and lineage of old. Interesting. Well, we only got one to have a go through, so we have strikes, blocks, great roll, which then we suffer a burn for, but we can slow cards, and we can increase attack until the end of battle. And I assume we have 3 copies. Now, does stuff go and get 3? Sin, whenever you lose health, gain 1 rage. And rage. So there's something I'll always put up with stuff like this. If I hover over it, don't put it so low down, although it's very hard to read. Just kind of point that out. Target deals 1 additional damage per rage. Completely remove rage after the next attack. Okay, so that's kind of like temporary extra bonuses. Cool. Play the whammin. And journey together. Now we're just awaken. Do it solo. I like the idea that you can do co-op though. That's kind of unique, especially for a roguelike and stuff. So playing it with friends would be really interesting. And if we're still playing it, maybe we can set up some co-op games, stuff like that together as well, with anyone that's kind of interested in this game also. You awaken in the Nether, a strange land shrouded in eternal twilight and haunted by grotesque creatures. To escape the Nether, you must reach the Pillar of Light. Beware the dangerous path. Each area's got about enemy. Fight them to move to the next area. Okay, cool. So we're here, we're going there, and I assume we're moving up to... No, we go to this fight and then move through. Fight rewards. I don't know what these rewards do. So I assume that's a spell, and I assume that's like some sort of random ability. Okay, you can go back as well. So Merciless, whenever your rage boosts an attack, draw a card. Okay, so if I take damage, we can get more out of that. That's kind of interesting. Awesome. At the start of each battle, gain 2 strength. At the end of your 3rd turn, lose 2 strength. Actually, that's kind of nice. Like, extra, like, immediate damage could help burst through early game enemies. And I guess we are a rage build. Okay, we get everything. Interesting. So, offensive, advance. Advance, target moves to the front. Okay, so we have the front and the back. That's kind of interesting. Party mechanics. We deal damage. We inflict a wound. Target loses HP equal to wound whenever inflicted, decrease every turn. So kind of like poison. And then what's the last one? Is wither. Next damage of target is reduced by 1 per of the wither. And then remove the stacks. Interesting. Cinders. We can block. Target deals 1 damage. We get rage. And then we suffer burn damage. For 2 though. No, it's just 1. And then we have some sort of a jagged blade into your draw pile. Then add 1 jagged blade to your hand. Banish. I would like to know what the jagged blade does. This is just more of a tip for developers and stuff. If you've got stuff that does create these things, we've seen it before where just like they will like allow you to pick it up. I'm not sure if I can pick it without like looking at it, and I can't right click, so we're assuming whatever I pick here is just immediately being taken. Cinder seems interesting, and for 1, what's the charge. On activation, loses 1 charge. If any remain, returns to the timeline. Huh. Interesting. Defensive. I think just gut punch seems pretty cool though. Like the damage plus the extra bleed and things. But that does... Actually, that works well for my abilities and stuff. So I've got 11 cards. We can review them as well. So yeah, so a defensive tool that I can then use to gain more damage, to deal more damage, seems pretty interesting. And I guess I'm moving up for a fight. Lesser Inra. Blind with fury, this creature fights regardless of consequences, unable and unwilling to control itself, frequently injures itself in a frenzy. Ooh, interesting. Interesting indeed. I think these cards strengthen. Okay. Great raw, slow stuff. We don't know what they're doing anyway. We don't need to worry about this. Now I can place it on here, so we can do a slow play. So I'm assuming these are class as phases, so they're attacking me, which they're doing nothing. Then they defend, then they attack, then they defend. And I'm defending, then attacking, defending, and attacking, and we stop at these points to set what we're going to do up. So I kind of like that. And that's kind of really interesting. It's taking the Slay the Spire aspect of the game, where you can place cards to kind of plan ahead, and also kind of like plan from behind. So like, I know they're not attacking, so here I don't need to defend. But they might end up putting a defense in once I put an attack in, so we know what's going on, and then we're just dancing around that. So, yeah, that is kind of cool. So, the fast drop goes there, we can just end turn and stock up some energy, in my opinion. Now, does that count as a turn? Hover over this cue card to see the details. So we know they're dealing 7 damage, apparently. To me. So, we want to defend. So... which we can do. Now let's increase my attack. Oh, pick card on timeline. And then I guess we'll attack afterwards. Why not? And then increase its attack. Now I could slow that down actually. Why not? I'm going to accept the burn. I want to see if the burn will do anything. And then if I end turn, I assume that's another turn phase. Do I keep block? By the looks of it, I do keep block. So we're taking 10 here. Cinders, we get a charge on that. We can advance to defend. Just playing that there. You can restore HP for 1 energy. Okay, cool. That's like an ability of a healing class, and I assume there's charges. Does that come back? Is the question. Does that come back? Advance 2. And I guess we'll slow... Do we need to slow one of them? Can I take... I cannot take stuff out. Interesting. So that's one thing I probably would say is, although you can place them in, give the option to remove them as well. Just because if I'm in planning phase and I need to end turn, there's no point if the action isn't taken for me to undo an action and choose what I want to do as a difference, right? It just would seem more appropriate to be able to do that. I will admit, the animation on that looks so cool. I think they need to slow that down a little bit even more to actually see it, because that would be much more entertaining to see, right? Put that in, and put the block in just so we can block. Then slow that down. And turn. We should win here. But yeah, this is actually really interesting. I kind of like the idea of it. Collect everything. So we got some shadow glass, use it in the merchant, the smithy, and then we get another spell. Echo. Echo, number of times the card activates. So this will activate twice. 2 Echo. I'm assuming. Target deals additional damage, Unbridled Rage, kind of interesting as well. Gain energy. Automatic. What does that do? Triggers whenever this card is drawn. Huh. And it banishes itself. Well, that's kind of cool. And the automatic armor, I gain that. Whenever I... Prevents point of 1 HP loss per thing, decreased by 1 for every point of HP loss, thus prevented. Interesting. So essentially we can use this to kind of like gain a bit of armor for free, but we lose the ability to have that, to gain energy and then kind of like blow someone up. I like the idea. I do like this though. Times 2 damage with the echo twice. Which with my damage increase I already have at the start is going to be pretty cool. Can we go around the map is the question. I guess not. Here we go. New area. So we can select a card reward, or we go to the merchant. Or we can get an upgrade card to my deck. We can select a new card for the deck, and then we have a fight. Okay, so very sort of Monster Train type style. It's kind of interesting. Per weakness, increase attack by 1, +2 if the enemy has weakness on it, and discard card. Okay, so very thematic cards for like areas and stuff. And then apply weakness for 2 with that. I want to reroll those, so why not? I want to see what else is there. I mean, more interested in like looking at the cards. Blind, slowly random enemy attack if of an opponent, banish, disables all positive effects attached to the target. During this time, they will not be trigger. Or reduce, decreases every turn. And obviously the slow and the banish. That's kind of interesting, Flash Powder. Again, it's another way to kind of like prevent stuff happening. I think I'll take that. And we'll take that. Let's move over to upgrade stuff from the deck. And what are we going to upgrade? Can I see what we upgrade? Oh, that seems like interesting. Okay, so it increases that to there, or I can just increase this for... Okay, so they have 2 upgrades as well. That's kind of cool. Very similar. More energy or more wrath, and to get more charge as well, but costs 2, or just have that with the better armor rating. Well, we got this. I can remove... I can remove the Sufferer, or I can keep the Sufferer and banish 2 cards. I think the slowing to the 2 cards is actually really good. But we get banish attached to it, which means I can only use it once. That's an issue. Increase attack, increase attack by 4, or make it cost 0. Increase by 2. I think the increase by 0 is actually really useful, because it means I can cast it along with other stuff. And I think that's just going to be more beneficial. Now we can move on. Some enemies possess powerful soul shards. Take a look at the effects by hovering over them. Heal restores 1 HP per bleed, I assume. Is that bleed? No. See again, box is just in the wrong place. I'm only little things, but the little things don't bother me. I'm looking at like the whole game, and I do like this. Right, so I can see their attack plan here. So on their turn, they decided to do this, so that's what they did, and they applied this attack, which will cause an echo effect, which will be 4 damage twice. And then I'm going to have to deal with that. Now, I could just slow it. I do not have my actual thing that I would like. Oh, should we do? So we can do this. We're going to increase its damage by 2. Select. So that's 12. Just do an offensive strike here. And just like try and deal as much damage to this guy as possible. So whenever HP of this enemy are 3 or less, at the start of the turn they restore 4 HP. Heal restores 1 HP per blood. I assume that's a blood token. And I guess we might as well set up a block, just so we have it for there, so it's in line with that one. I'm assuming actions happen simultaneously, is the question. So here we have everything going on. I can use the flash powder, we can then use cinders if we want, or we can just, like, attack. Now, if I flash powder that back, nothing really happens. I could do that if I can actually get some damage in here. And maybe catch him off guard. I think I just block a little bit more. And save my energy for next turn. So draw pile, discard pile. Now, do I lose everything? I should just put that there as well. The question is do you lose everything? When you, got burn on me. That does give you more energy. Okay, no, so you do keep some and then you draw a full hand, essentially. And you have 2 of those. Okay. And now we've lost all my my actual buffs now, so. Fast. I go through their armor. Now I'm thinking, oh, I can't do that yet, so we can't put that to the slow zone. Okay. It is really interesting. I like the mechanics of it and the fact that it is kind of very turn-based in a way that I've not really seen before. Because it allows you to kind of manipulate stuff in a way that would be more beneficial. Do I just take 8 here? I don't really want to take 8. They're going to block for 7 anyway. If I do that, they block up for 14, which is 13, and I still don't have enough damage. But I can... yeah. And do that. Okay. Nice. So they do happen simultaneously. They put the blocks happen first before anything else. That's kind of cool. And pick that up. What we get here, another soul shard. The start of your turn, suffer 2 burn and gain additional energy. Shrink is reduced by 1, but whenever enemy lose HP, restore 1 health. No. Infernal. Well, what about healing later? Lose HP and gain strength. I would like that, actually. It's your team. Your team's armor is not removed at the start of your next turn. I think we take a adrenaline rush here. Go full aggro. And then move to the next zone. I'm kind of interested. Like, this game is actually, like, kind of cool. Animations on the ground. So, cards or gems for the shop and a removal effect, I'm assuming. And then a boss fight. Let's go here. Take my reward to go to the shop and see what is there. What else we got here? Foe attack whenever you gain 2 rage. And then 2 wither. You gain rage, 2 wither. I'm not sure how I read that card correctly. That doesn't seem great for me. Someone card, discard a card at random. Gain it 2 energy. Hasten all your queued cards banish. That kind of seems really good. Play with fire also seems pretty interesting. I'm going to take that. So if I understand like the kind of way that you kind of like meant to play the game, what do you do? Whenever this enemy loses HP, inflict burn to a random player. This is a trigger ability on effects under certain conditions. Thank you for letting me know. So, trigger at least one card has a keyword trigger. Attacked, gain rage. Okay. So I attack you with that open, you gain rage. So I can lose HP to gain thingy. So I think that's just a good idea. We'll do it. And not in rage. And then I guess we'll just push that back. We'll suffer the burn, which is fine. I'll gain 2 energy based on spells. Kind of pointless, but we'll end turn. He applied burn to me. Now, where is my one attack I want? Flash powder. Okay, we probably don't have enough to go through everything that I would like to do. And I guess we'll let you do your defense thing. I guess I will attack. No, we can't give him rage if we do that. Advance, target moves to the front. Let's just put some block on. We'll take the burn, we're gaining a stacks of rage, right? Yeah. And I guess we'll end turn. Actually, I could have spent one more energy. Here we go. And I've lost all my strength, which I'm very frustrated by, because this card didn't come up in my opening. Put the cinders down there. And then just like... Can you just stack all the strikes? Oh no, so you can only do 3 actions within a thing. Slow play that. The aggro playstyle was probably not the way to go here. What are they doing there? Was they gaining some armor? Her burn. Okay. I'm just gonna slow that right now. And I can't do anything else, really. I'm gonna put some defensive stuff there, just because I've got nothing else I can do, and we'll wait for that. I'm going to take 8 from this guy here. And then we've got that being triggered. So I can slow it again. So we'll do that. I can lose a HP. If we want to. But I'm not going to. Actually, do we need to? 11, 1. Yes, I need to lose 1 HP. I gain enough armor, that should be fine. And turn. So I should live. And then we kill them. Nice. Envy. Okay. Let us continue. Animate a random card. Put a copy of a card of a cue card in your hand, and the copy costs 0. This gains Vanish. Interesting. Target loses HP to wound. Glyph. Instant. 1 bleed. Vanish. Yeah. And per enemy at the front. That doesn't really do much for me, although it'd be pretty cool. I guess Glyph of Bleeding would be kind of nice, but I think we need other stuff, so let's just roll, see what else we got. Ooh, just gain strength. Gain armor. Strength. Oh, is that just going there until I unlock them? Is that letting me know, is it? Or has someone joined the game? Actually, interesting how that works with the multiplayer, actually. I'm assuming someone can't just join the game at any point. Let's go here. I assume this is healing. Refill heal flask. Well, if we're refilling it, I will heal myself, and then we'll heal. And we can upgrade, so let's see what we can upgrade. Upgrading this, I can get Retain or Innate, so it starts with me, or I can keep hold of it. Okay, so we do cycle through our hand every turn. That is nice to know. Gain 1 energy, but I can get that, or I can draw a card. That becomes 0 as well. Ooh. The drawing of the card, though, could be interesting, and the 2 energy. Can lose HP, or lose more HP and gain more. Interesting. Can I upgrade multiple cards? The other question on this, actually. I'm kind of interested to know that. I don't want to do that, because I think just increasing that is too many, but this could be the way to go. Again, 4 on Cinders, and the Slow Suffering. I really want to burst someone out, is the main thing. So maybe this actually is worth it. To upgrade it to 2, just so I can deal more damage. Like 2 extra attack, but then I have to spend more energy, but then we can get the energy back from other ways. I may regret that. May regret that. I can't upgrade that, I don't have enough. I don't have enough for anything else, do I? Okay. Okay, so upgrades get strong, cost more the more you do it in a row. That's kind of annoying. But I guess it's to stop you from doing it all. Rare witch, stumbling upon one witch. A single witch is rare. Her sisters are likely nearby, rendering a prolonged fight into a dangerous gamble. But even on her own, she can more than hold her own. Scratching curses into bark and stone that take root in your heart and grow around your spine, where they slowly spread all the way into your marrow. I'm not too sure what... Where's the face? So what are they doing here? Adds 2 curse mark. Which is suffer a vulnerable and then banish. To the enemies, to the player's deck. Okay. Interesting. Well, we're going to Adrenaline immediately, because that's 0 and we got 3 energy, so that's going to be fine. We can strike, we can do this for 14. I think we should do that for 14. Can I defend a little bit? I can. They probably should do that, so we'll do that. There we go. It's end turn. We got Sows to the front. Now, is there a difference between being in the front and in the back? Or is it just because of the fact that if you do have multiplayer, there is that? So I think you can like do a 2v2 and a 1v1 as well, which would be interesting. I don't know how that functions with all the cards and stuff. Glyph effects can be queued cards for the rest of the battle. You can only slot 1 glyph at a time. Oh. Choose target glyph. Let's just use. We got curse mark, so banish. This card tries to harm you. So I have to play the vulnerable to get rid of it. Okay. So if I slow that person, use the curse mark. Just get out of the way now. Roll 0, and then we'll just attack once. Just end turn, I guess. Void, banish cards. And there we go. So they're doing 9, and then they're doing that thing, which is double that weakness. We're at 9 curse mark. We do have more damage than we need. I do not have anything else for me to draw, so I guess we're going to slow. If I slow that, it goes there anyway, so it doesn't make much of a difference, because we'll go here, and then it's their turn to choose. So slowing their defense doesn't do anything either. Hasten all your queued cards. I guess I'll just do that and gain the energy. And I guess I'll just pass. It's finding out kind of like what the best course of action is. Like this has now got 9, so I'm hopefully I can deal with this now. Forensic cards that hurt you directly, or by blows on the deck. Look for enemy cards. Okay. I don't like playing these, but I kind of have no choice, and I feel like I'm just going to take more and more damage. Cinder on that. We'll do the strike then. Don't know if it saves me, but... Okay. That was not a bad run. And kind of think you kind of understand some of the mechanics and things. Soul experience. So you get soul experience for other cards you play. Interesting. Transfer to PvP. Okay. I think we just discard. Interesting. We'll give it a bit before we take a survey on that. Let's play another game. We have unlocked the other character. So, Envy, Sin, start of each battle with 2 thorns. So, more defensive, I'm assuming. Well, as I've unlocked the character, let's try it out. Why not? I'm always interested in trying these things out, seeing what I can do, and all that jazz. So, whenever you discard a defense, inflict vulnerable to an enemy. Whenever an enemy plays an attack, draw a card. I think? No. Card advantage could be important. So if they attack me, I get stuff. So we're very defensive. So retrieve. What does that do? Retrieve. Every time you take any damage, draw a card, a random card with retrieve. Erosion. Discard 2 cards. Interesting. Poison, if any is poison. So this is our poison character, very interesting. If you have 4 or more cards in hand, gain an energy and force the front enemy to go to the back, else hasten all your queued actions. Okay. Let's have a look at the deck, what we've got. Block, block, blocker with all the advance, standard thing. Hardened blade for 2 attack, 2 attack, 2 attack. Retrieve. Weakness on all enemies, discard 2 cards. Then retrieve, discard 2 cards, and give people vulnerable. So very status heavy stuff, but don't have much else. I would like to get rid of that. Mate an opponent's card. Interesting. With defense and weakness for 2. I will take that actually. That seems interesting. You're trying to figure out what you need to be able to do and what you can do. Right? I'm trying to work around that the best you can. I will admit though, I really do like this sort of like turn-based combat. And the fact that you can like set up turns in advance. I think that's going to add so much depth to like PvP. And that could be something very interesting on how that functions. And by the looks of the fact that you need to get through a run with it to be able to do stuff also seems kind of interesting as well, right? So we gain block, we apply the weakness, we take the damage, and we're all good. And that stays around now because the charges on it. That's what the charges do. Okay, now I'm understanding. I'm understanding. To all enemies. Apply the vulnerable if we want to. Discard 2 spells. Well, get rid of 1. And get rid of that for now, because I don't really think I'm going to deal any damage anytime soon. We do have Thorns though, which is if you receive damage, attacker loses 1 HP per stack. See, that's kind of annoying. Like, you have to take damage to lose the Thorns. That's not nice. Come on, man. We know that's not nice. Like, just focusing around all the stuff and trying to figure out, like, what the best core thing is. It's interesting. So we can even lower the, well, I've already taken the weakness out anyway. So I can actually just go Hidden Blade. I did 2 of them. Nah, I think we're good on that. I can actually set up a defense here, just because I think I'm going to need one. And we'll leave that there. Then I attack. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the Thorns only dealing damage when you receive damage. It kind of seems a bit redundant, because if you block it, then they still hit you, kind of thing. At least if I was nitpicking, I would change that. Let's put the block and a Hidden Blade. Can't play anything else except the disruption if we want to, which I could just lower your thing again. Discard those. I do like this sort of constantly applying status. So weakness decreases every turn and keep it up, so they always deal 25% less damage. And this takes attack and decreases every turn, so I can keep increasing that by 1 just by stacking a lot of these on there. Right. Take that and that. We've already lowered their thing. We've already got this on there, the Hidden Blade, so we can technically do another one. Actually, yeah, with having the double effect on that, that's kind of also pretty cool. Okay, I'm understanding this now, and that is actually more unique than I thought it was. So this Hidden Blade now goes back to the top of the queue because it's got an extra charge, which means that now I'm dealing with this guy. It's going to do 6 damage, so we can basically just put a block in here and we're all going to be all good. And we won't take any damage in return, and then we can like do, say, more disruption if we want. I wish I had the other thing, because that'd be kind of cool, but... And I can put like a Hidden Blade here again to deal 3 damage, because he's got the vulnerable on him. Man, if we stick up the vulnerability, that'd be actually a lot better, wouldn't it? If I discard a card, put more vulnerable on people. And Hidden Blade. Okay, I like this character a lot. I think I've got a grasp of how this character is meant to work a lot more quickly. I guess that's because I like this sort of style of play, although you have like 3 armor fronting that. Damage currently. So check that out. He's got enough weakness, we don't need to worry. So that and the block. You already got 1 block in hand. You apply that. That will save me from there. Then we can put another Hidden Blade for more damage. Okay, they're doing strength and stuff. That's very annoying. More Hidden Blade. And I might as well put a block here, as we've got the energy to do so. Yeah, I'm enjoying this game. It's kind of interesting. And so greetings, welcome. I'm trying to figure out with this game a lot of the stuff that's going on, and it is kind of interesting. 1 block can go. We've already got the other block as well. That block's already in there. Do nothing blade, and that should be the game. I'm trying to figure out how this game functions, and this is the second character they got, which yeah, is a lot more interesting than the first one, I will admit. The first one being the standard kind of like warrior stuff with like burn effects and stuff and like slowing your opponent. Like pushing their turn order back, which is kind of unique. Chain, how does that work? Chain triggers when you play in the card after this one during the turn, and then you banish. Okay. Interesting. Prepared, slow a Q action for opponent. Blessing. We can gain some armor. And then armor, +1 for your enemy. Retreat. Retreat moves to the back. Self-preservation. Actually, that'd be pretty good. I apply a lot of weakness, so gaining that as well could be actually pretty useful. I'll pick one up. Let's move on. And shop, I think we should go upgrade. I mean, as a quick look, this is very interesting, I will admit. Like, okay, so we make that 0, or to get more of that. I can banish it for 1, or just get more armor out of the 2 value. Retrieve. I can remove that or discard 1 card. Yeah, the upgrade on that I don't think is actually as good as I would like it to be. This, though, could be a lot better. +2 on enemies actually is really good for that. It seems we got this going for it. Yeah, I might actually do that. And we got this weakness as well, so we do stack a lot of weakness. We can work around that. A card reward. Lose HP, gain that. Actually is probably kind of worth it. Suffer burn, we don't really want to do that. And what is a jagged blade? I would like to know. I'm gonna reroll. Increase attack for random attacking your enemies team lines by 2. Suffer a burn, draw 1 card, banish. Double blow. Double blow seems interesting as well. I assume that gets double the bonuses for them being vulnerable. Yeah, I'm a bit unusual in the fact that the vulnerability is a little bit different from everything else. Okay, so he's doing 6 damage applying burn. We want to be aggro with this one, I think. So, we'll do that immediately. Then do this. Advance and hidden blade. Put this both down. You now have 2 weakness. We're going to fully defend. We do get the burn, though. No, we don't. We defend. It burns itself. Okay, interesting. Man, I was confused by that. So the stuff doesn't apply. Yeah, actually, that is one thing that's going to have to watch out for. Is how much of that does actually go there. Self-preservation. Maybe retreat. I guess it doesn't make a difference because we're not playing a duo. And then, so I've got enough to block that. I guess we can put hidden blade down. And then we can block. Do we need to block? I guess we might as well block if we've got the option to do it. Advance forward. Forwards and back, forwards and back. Okay. So, if I get rid of 2 cards, they do that. We've already got 4 on there. They already are weakened, so we can't do anything about that. We're getting defended. And then we can do that to make sure. Yes. So we don't take any damage. And then we'll get rid of both the blades here, I think. To apply that. And then discard the other 2. And keep 1 energy around. Yeah, so these fights are going to probably take a lot of time to figure out, in my opinion. Put that there. It's good amount of damage. Can do that, and then put that and that in there to discard. Didn't realize that this card would have been as big a thing as it was for this character. So it's something that we have to do, and I noticed that that gets reduced once they pass this threshold, which is kind of frustrating. I need to do this. Again, I'm out of a block that's necessary. And I can hidden blade that. We can do that as well. And then keep applying the weak. I should have applied the weak first, then got the armor. I would have been alright. It would take 1 damage, I think. I'll take 1 hit back, and then... yeah, done. Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure how much, like, this particular character to be. Slow one card, discard a card at random. Increase attack by 3 for the whetstone. Chain. Whetstone seems interesting, but I'm not really relying on it that way, so I'm just going to skip those, actually. So whenever an enemy loses HP, apply 1 weak to them. Whenever you lose 2 HP, inflict a poison at random and decrease every turn. I guess we can take the weakness. With that sort of build anyway. So yeah, we basically only have that. So when an enemy plays an attack, draw a card, which is kind of working out really well, but I kind of wish I had the discard now, knowing what I now know. Right. Let's go to the shop, see if there's anything interesting in there. Enemies poison, we don't poison. Punish. Trigger whenever an enemy loses HP. That would be really good, actually. Increase attack by 1, +2 if the enemy has weakness, discard a card at random. And it's kind of good. Because it's just an extra thing, and they might not discard a card anyway. I assume it's only when it casts, but I will pick it up. We'll have to see, we'll have to see. And then let's do a fight. Melodies of power and grace lend to this being's strength and nimbleness. Strike it, though, and it will be thrown off its rhythm. Strength. This enemy has increased strength by 3. Whenever they lose HP, strength gets reduced by 1. Okay. So it has increased strength to start with, and then we start reducing it. Can you go below 1 strength, is my question to this. I would like to know. Doesn't do anything. Increase attack. Fine. Turn. I'm trying to figure out what the best way about this is going to be. I mean, that's the main thing, right? So I can't even defend, but we've got that, so... Echo Blade there. And I guess we'll put that there. That will lower their strength down enough, and then we'll just end turn. No, let's put that defense there. I love the planning out phase of this. Like, I really will admit, like, just how interesting that is. And then the charge mechanic and how that functions with the whole turn stuff is also pretty cool, right? You can really kind of, like, plan stuff out. So, you can do an erosion. In blade. And I should go block. They have weakness, so we can put the echo down. And then the borrowed strength on this. We'll select it. Okay, I've got a build. Yeah, just let me discard 2 cards as well, why not? a man who doesn't know what he's doing and will still pick up the most stupidest combo we've ever seen. Aren't I amazing? Ooh, soul shard unlocked. No idea what that does, but we leveled up. Whenever you discard, prepare, discard all cards in hand, banish. Prepare, what does that do? Triggers when this card enters the timeline. Okay. That's kind of good, because we do discard quite a lot, and I do like the idea. Cleanse yourself, kind of cool as well. Echo 2, banish. Let's take Spite. I kind of like the idea of that. So, we've got 15 cards now. Spite doesn't work so well for this, sort of like giving me extra defense when I discard cards, though. The shop. We could go to the shop. I do want an upgrade, though. We do have rewards, but shop. Let's go shop. And then we got an extra card if we want to pick it up. See anything interesting in here. I do like the idea of punish, which is whenever my opponent loses HP, do that. Double the front enemy. Corrosion. And it doubles it, then gives them one. So opponent banish. I'll take the corrosion, why not? We'll move on. Might as well. Best way to go about it is just figuring stuff out. I kind of like the idea of that. Ooh, what is that? Blessing. Negate the next debuff you will receive. Chain. Reflect. Income damage by 1 per negate. Back at the attacker completely. Increase attacks in your timeline by 3 and then banish. That could be interesting, but we'll reroll. Plus 2 attack per one of those. To all enemies, chain and banish, which gives you evade. Next time you take a lose 1 health instead. Oh, that would be evade, just avoid attack. Interesting. I think we take the eradication. That seems pretty cool. That seems pretty cool indeed. Hi, welcome! We're doing a quick look at the Nether Spirits, which is a fairly interesting game. I'm actually really enjoying the combat turn mechanic they've got set up on here, which is really interesting. Essentially, each line is where you get to choose what you do, and then you go through the cycle of you attack and defend, which is kind of interesting. I must admit that kind of is there. Although hand size is a bit of an issue on this game. I don't know if they realize I could draw this many cards. It's in the demo, so there are bugs and stuff like that, but that is absolutely fine. We can figure stuff out from there. Now, did I get the one thing I wanted? Don't have that. There's that, and then there's this one here, which you do that to there. I'm not too sure what else I can do. I'm trying to figure out. Well, let's just try and make my hand a little better. Let's just discard 2 cards to start with. One of each. There we go. A good disruption. Yeah, it is fairly interesting. Front enemy per weakness on them. They have 2 weakness, so we could set up for later. Hi, Frothyphobia, how are you? Yeah, I think the visual style looks amazing. Just my only kind of niggle on it, which I probably will say, is that the art style of like the character designs, especially with the way they've taken it, sort of like giving that sort of like Chinese mythos type stuff, right? The backgrounds don't kind of emulate the same upfront boldness, which is kind of a bit of a downgrade, but I'm nitpicking there. I'm nitpicking, again, with it being in the demo and stuff. You know, but it is actually really kind of interesting. I mean, look at this. The detail on that is just so cool. And saying as well, like, the turn-based mechanic on this, I do like it, and I think it works, the turn-based stuff, because this also has multiplayer, which is interesting. Yeah. It's just one of those things I point out, that visual style. Like, it's like they overworked themselves for one thing and they didn't have enough energy for the background. And you're kind of like, but the animations for the attacks and stuff, they look really, really good. So I don't need to defend. They are attacking in the defense slot, apparently. Can they do that? Can you do that? Or is that an ability? Okay. Okay, so I need to get a defense up for my turn. Heal in rage, okay. Is that what his ability is now? And put the screech on. And then I want to put it in blade. Yeah, it's really interesting, I will admit. So some of the mechanics are very similar to other ones, and the sort of Slay the Spireness is also very interesting, just kind of like playing through it earlier. I mean, this is the second character that I kind of unlocked. Yeah, the cool thing about it is as you saw with the hidden blade there, all of these have like a little ball above them here. So this is what the energy cost is. You get 2 per turn, and then you get to spend it as you want. But these orbs basically say how long it will last in the stack order. So you can either put it in the fast area or the slow area. Then once it's used, if it's got 2 of these orbs, which these ones did, they go back in the turn order again. And that's what's wild about it, is the fact that that will just keep cycling through. So if you had one with 3, it'll go through 3 times. Which means then you can plan around, stack stuff up. And I think you could break the game with certain stuff if they've not planned around it properly. Like I kind of already have in a certain case here. Yeah. So at the moment, the stack on this person, they got weakness, which is the standard weakness that everyone else does. And the vulnerable, which they increase the damage by 1, and it drops off a stack each turn. So think it like attacking poison. So it stacks up, but then you can kind of get it removed. Which is a really weird way of doing it, because, you know, vulnerability, I would assume they just take 25% more damage, but they did it this way, so that's kind of interesting. But it also means like stuff like this one, which is double blow. The echo means it kind of happens twice. They'll take 6 damage from this with the way the math works out. And then I've got stuff like doubling their effectiveness. I have this, which increases the damage by 2 for every weakness they have. This one has 6. So you can kind of see what I'm going to do here, which is going to be a very fun time for this one now. So we do that. That goes up to there. That's up to 10. That's not 16. And then, why not? Let's just put the debuff on you as well. I don't need to block right now. Okay, doubled it, add the 1. And that's 20 damage, so that's what's going to happen now. I mean, the one thing I moaned at earlier was the fact that those animations... Yeah, I mean, the ideas on it are really cool. I was moaning about earlier that the animations are too quick, and I've got it on the slower setting, so I don't get to see the cool stuff they did. You know, enjoyment problems. I can't like appreciate the visual art style. But yeah, I will admit it is really interesting as something kind of. So this one's doing 6 to me now, and then I got to take 4 defense, so I get 4 block for the turn. Block always happens before the attacks as far as I'm aware, and they happen in order, and I think you can only do 3 actions within each of these areas, so that's also something to figure out as well. So per block to all enemies. So I could do that, and actually I've already blocked, I don't need to do anything else. Let's just make sure that they have all the stuff on them. Stack up debuffs, that's all I care about. Oh, I can't actually play that. That's interesting. That doesn't let me do it. What's in turn? So yeah, I'm kind of interested in this game. It was actually recommended by one of the subscribers to the channel, so I was like, if there are other games that kind of like either appear very similar to what I put on my channel, stuff like that. I'm hopefully going to live stream a lot more regularly and stuff is the plan. And hopefully that comes back in a good way so we can kind of like do some more cool stuff, which I've kind of got set up now in a way. But I didn't play down one turn. Don't know why I actually defended that, it's kind of a waste. So, yeah, hopefully I plan to, throughout the week, to stream a couple of days. Yeah. I've been putting it off for a lot of the time because of just life gets in the way and stuff like that, but I've now kind of set aside and gone, no, I am going to... I'm going to stream when I want to stream. Oh yeah, Enrage, I forget about that. Yeah, Enrage is like a temporary buff, very similar to just temporary strength if I defend, which I gotta remember not to do as much. He's got a lot of weakness. I'm gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. Because they cycle through, you can actually keep getting more and more on that. Yeah, and I'm hoping to get Kick set up as well and do a bit of streaming on there. Do like shorter streams on YouTube and then do longer ones on Kick and then kind of just see how things go from there. Not doing anything, that's fine. Let's just go full out attack then. Don't need to use that. Yeah, I gotta do that because I get the discard effect. Oh, I'm on low life total. Did not realise that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I've lost the second boss on these twice so far, so it's gonna be interesting if I can actually like beat this boss now. Do I have more attacks? That's still there. Oh, we can heal. I can use the healing. Let's do that. Sounds like a good idea. So I've only just started playing this game and already forgetting the fact that I can actually heal. So now we should have that effect, yeah. So we should have the constant effect. I don't know where it shows that. No idea. But I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn. So defend, what are you doing here? Times 4 to all enemies, restore 1 charge. When the enemy loses at least 1 health, then banish. Okay. Interesting. So I don't need to defend. I think just go again, keep putting more attacks down. Do that. Don't want the blocks for now. Put the erosion down so they take more damage. Can't play that. Pass turn. Yeah, I mean, I will admit I am slightly more lazy than I should be when it comes to a lot of stuff, and like trying to play games, most of the time I really have to kind of set aside time for it, which is normally the biggest issue when it comes to stuff like that. Don't do the hidden blade. +1. Let's do that. We'll get a bunch of block. 21 block. That's gonna keep you alive. So I will admit it is kind of my own fault as well. Like I am not going to deny that. But we are we're going to work towards being a bit more active socially as well. I mean, across my desk at the moment, I've got like a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons set up and everything else as well, because I got that to sort out for New Year's, which is going to be an absolute great time. Just put 1 block up, we don't need anything else. Increase that damage again. Yeah. It's... So, I got a bunch of friends for New Year's, and we're all going to meet up for that. And, like, the day before to New Year's Eve, and we're going to play a bunch of games and stuff. We normally do it every year. It's always been quite a good thing, and it's kind of like how a lot of us have stayed in touch. Although we've got a bunch of people that haven't played like D&D before that are joining, so we're going to be doing that. and I was thinking of running a campaign up, but a lot of them are always very overcomplicated and stuff like that, especially for new players. Even when I started, like, a lot of friends kind of had... There was a lot to worry about, which was... sometimes it can be off-putting, I know. What we've got here, so it's spiteful. If this card is discarded from your hand, and that has banished, we can keep discarding this and applying more of that. Select type, goes to energy, costs 0 its turn. Soft one. No, I think we take spiteful. That seems great. So, whenever our enemy has 5 or poison, remove and inflict 3 vulnerable, don't care. Increase the thorns. I guess we'll increase the thorns. So yeah, I'm setting up a kind of a mini one-shot and writing all that out, which I've got a really fun idea I want to mess around with. Ah, yeah, so yeah, following... Yeah, that's what I mean, it's like, basically simplifying the rule set out and stuff is kind of like the main thing. So I'm kind of setting up a campaign, I'm going to give them all kind of pre-made characters, and it's mainly going to be fun-based. So we're going to be doing, essentially, I've got this idea of having a character like Dionysus. For those that don't know, it's one of the Greek gods that essentially is the god of wine and merriment, but also religious sort of zealotry and constant worship in a way, which is kind of funny and hilarious. So we're having him do like time loop in a particular city, causing the Eternal Party or the Everlasting New Year's, which is what my character is going to be playing through. So it's going to be kind of a quick one-shot 4-hour session, and the moment we started off, just to kind of have a bit of fun with it, I'm going to give them all actions that will take time for them to do, and they'll have a certain amount of time to spend to do things. So I want to do it like a particular set timer, like set an hour and stuff, but for new people making decisions is kind of hard. So I'm going to set it up. Yeah, so I'm going to set it up so they have a bunch of actions they can do that take up the sort of 12 or 24-hour time slot to try and figure stuff out and find out what the solution is. The cool thing about it is I'm going to make one of them, essentially their patron is this Dionysus character, which is going to have a whole kind of like wolves in sheep clothing vibes, where they're actually trying to stop the party from ending the Eternal New Year's. And we're going to have a bunch of games and stuff. They got to actually perform magic tricks, sing a song, like actually physically do it to kind of pass certain checks and things like that, which is going to be great fun. And after having a few drinks in you, we know what we're all going to be doing. So that's going to be an absolute hell of a time. Hopefully, anyway. At least I would like it to be. And I think that's a great way to introduce people to D&D and not do much on like overdoing it. I was going to put a bit of combat in there and do like a bar brawl and stuff like that, but it's going to be set up in a way that if it happens through the time loop repeatedly, it's going to be the exact same bar fight. So the dice rolls and everything else will be the same to kind of keep it simple on my end for other people, so they can plan around the opponent's attacks and stuff. So like when say a pub brawl starts, one person hits them. Yeah, it's going to be a fun New Year's bash. But yeah, like if they attack them, then like the person blocks, and then they know they're going to block next turn, so they can kind of get around that and stuff. So like, it's more the idea of information is going to be the key more than it is actually skill or luck. I'm just debating on the level of the characters to put in, because more higher levels means they have more skills, which could be overwhelming, and sort of like how to do the challenge ratings and stuff for most things. But I'll probably keep it very simple out through what's in the book and stuff. What are we going to remove? What are we removing here? Don't want to actually move on. We'll move on from there. So let's go. No, going this way. Duplicate a card. Duplicate a card. Bard Strength could be really good. No. Is it Bard Strength? Or Eradication? Actually, no. Spiteful. That is the one we want to duplicate, because that could mean that we can get more of this card. Yeah, I wanted to do something good for the New Year's stuff, and I thought that was a good way of doing it and introducing people. So, banish, cost 0. Actually, that upgrade seems really good. And then I think they increased the cost of it after that. Ooh, we can keep this going. What else do I want to upgrade? That's 3. Get that down to 0. Actually, 0 cost on that is also really good. They can't buy anymore. I think they go to 100 now. Right. Oh no, 75. Ooh. We can get more upgrades. Discard all cards in hand for 2. Retrieve, discard 1. Don't care about only the 1. I mean that's what it is. Like I always kind of felt frustrated for a lot of people when they had people that ended up doing a lot of min-maxing and stuff. Yeah, and the problem is, like, when people start min-maxing stuff, it becomes a bit of a... Why are we min-maxing it? Like, who are you facing when you're playing the game? The whole point is to tell a story, to be enjoyable, to play through it, make people make conscious decisions, and then have a good laugh about it. And if stuff doesn't roll your way, it's how you deal with it. I will admit that one of the guys I started playing with, like, years and years back, he was a very big DM on the fact that he didn't like doing party wipes. Like, very against it. Ooh, we're gonna have a problem this fight. So, what they ended up doing is they ended up doing a lot of permanent disabilities to your character, shall we say, or debuffs. So I had a rogue that lost an arm and a leg, which meant we had to go on a quest to go and get myself some dwarven-made prosthetics, which was a really cool thing. And then I had an upkeep cost for those prosthetics until we got them enchanted, which was another then trip, which we did. And this is over like 3 or 4 sessions that we literally ran of me just getting an arm and a leg back. Which is kind of nice, and it kind of like changed the pace a little bit. It also builds a lot of camaraderie. Yeah, nothing better than watching a party try and carry around the rogue on their back because they can't walk. It was hilarious. It really was. Okay. So what are we doing here? So I can do damage, just an instant spell. We don't have any armor just yet, so I guess we're just going to do that and discard stuff. Yeah, we can't do damage anyway. It was really good fun, and I was kind of happy that, like, that was my introduction to D&D. Can I cast that without discarding? Yes, I can. Because it was really kind of fair, and I think it kind of also made me into the DM that I am now. In a way. Where it's like, I go for fun and interesting stuff more than anything else. You can put that there. Guess we'll attack here, and then we can do this and discard my hand. But yeah, yeah. The main thing I think at the end of the day, it's never DM versus player. I think that's what a lot of people find it hard to get their heads around. I think that's what it always is. People feel like you have to win at D&D. And I'm like, no, you're just going to have fun. They have a weakness, don't they? Yeah, front enemy has weakness. Now, do you always attack... I assume you attack the front enemy consistently. And then I will say, I've got an entire booklet of, like, mini campaigns and stuff of just, like, when all my players decide they want to go off in a random direction that isn't the main campaign's way. Which is just kind of hilarious, really. It's just like, oh, we didn't want to go left, so we went right, and this is what happened. I think I mentioned like plenty of them. Man, I got a lot of cards. What can I do here? Okay. And you have 2 energy. So well, let's do this and 1 and 1. I know, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I sit there and I'll go like, okay, so you've all decided to go and do this. Let's roll a die and figure out what's going on. Can I see that? That's a spiteful thing. Borrowed strength. That guy's being down. I know, the problem with this is they haven't realized that you can draw that many cards. So like trying to like get this one, I can't really see what it is. Unless I know what the card is, and I can't pick it, which is kind of hilarious. The reason why I'm drawing so many cards is I have an ability, which I think you see, is, yeah, whenever an enemy plays an attack, I draw a card, and of course they play that, and then when I also take damage, a lot of these things have like retrieve, so I get them back as well, which is just hilarious. So that one's down anyway. I need to block. No, you'll be gone. That's 6. We're doing 3 there, so we can put that there. Do not want to play that because it's got banish. And doubling your weakness. I'm going to put that there then. But yeah, demos, this is why you put demos out. You can test all these things and everything else. Like, we got a visual bug now where this echo for the double below is still appearing. I do laugh. I don't mind visual bugs that much. A lot of people get really annoyed with it, and I'm just like, but, like, stuff like that happens. Okay, I don't have any defense. We're not getting any defense there. We can apply weakness, so we'll do that. We'll discard this, and I guess that for now. We'll put a block up, so we'll block some of that. And I guess I'll put a hidden blade somewhere. I think it just comes down to, like, sort of immersion breaking. I think a lot of people care about that a lot, especially with, like, how most games have become very artistic, in a way. I think that's, like, this is tinfoil hat theory time, a little bit. And I think the games industry became very artsy with this idea, and very like the art industry, where it was like, oh, we have to have lots of money, so the fact that we can then turn around and make lots of money back. So everyone tried to keep one-upping each other and essentially buying prices of art, theoretically, or developing games in this case, for ridiculous sums of money, because the fact they were going to recoup the loss, and if not, they can always write it off as a tax write-off, which is what they do when games fail and they don't make money off it. So R&D becomes a really big way to kind of save companies money, which is really dumb in a way, because if you're making a product, research and development is part of making the product anyway, so you shouldn't be able just to write a lot of that off, although it's the way companies work anyway, so they're allowed to do that because of particular reasons in development and things. But yeah, it was kind of used in a negative fashion, which is kind of what's led us to where we are now, which we just get games because everyone's in this random crowd. We've had really good games, though. That's the other thing. Yeah, they are easy to laugh off most of the time. Yeah, I don't think... what I'd say is, like, a lot of people are now saying, like, with how Expedition 33, like, swept the Game Awards, that, oh yeah, like, everyone's going to change, they're all going to learn and change their ways and stuff, and I'm just sat there going to myself, they're not, though. Like, they're generally not going to learn, and we're still going to be talking about this, like, next week and the week after, and the next month and next year. It's just how game companies are completely out of touch with just normal people. Okay. That can go there. Ooh, we're taking 16. I need to defend. I don't have a defense. I do have that, though. And this should be a one-shot, then. There we go. And the doubling blow. Guess I'll play it. No, not about no change. Okay. Yeah, it's a shame because, like, what'll happen is those companies will either end up losing money, going out of business, and then they'll be wondering, you know, why. The problem with the Game Awards, which has been a problem for a while, is we might as well say it. It's just a bunch of people giving a nice handy to a bunch of their mates. And the thing is like when they say like it's all, like, I think they do like the normal people awards, I'll call it, rather than the critics all the time making decisions that we don't really care about. And the thing is, like, who are the critics? Like, I really don't understand. Like, obviously, you got to keep give me more strength. They have to keep it at, like, anonymous because of, obviously, you don't want them to be bribed and stuff. But we know they're all being bribed anyway in some cases, so what's it matter? Like, are these just random people? Do we know them? Are they part of other industries and stuff like that? Like, we can heal up actually here, as we're going to get a full heal flask. Like, I'm not saying they're all like that, it's just, it's become now a sort of a meme in gaming culture that you can't trust a critic, and everyone gives it a 7 out of 10, which apparently is average. You know, the whole IGN problem. A game that's 5 out of 10 is actually still pretty good. Like, there are good qualities and there are bad qualities about it. The issue is we're rating everything. It just sucks that advertisers for the gamers. Yeah. Well, this was the issue. I don't know why I just quit out that. Oh, it's removal anyway. I don't remove stuff from a deck. Yeah. The issue is, I think, like, games were kind of treated in the way that they always gave, like, a return on investment, and you had to appeal to a community, which isn't really what a game is about. A game is just there to give an experience, Griffin, and people will flock to it when they feel like that experience resonates with them in some way, shape, or form, or seems interesting. Like, one of the reasons that we're playing this game today, which, again, is kind of interesting, is the fact that I got a recommendation because someone else found it interesting. At which point, then, I try it out for the demo-wise, and then other people are going to look at this and say, that looks actually pretty cool. Let's see what this game is about. And then that starts spreading word of mouth, rather than it just being someone telling you, you should go buy this game. And then, I think the whole shame campaign that went down was not a good idea either. Which happened quite a lot. What are we doing here? Yeah. The shame campaign of telling everyone that if you don't buy this game, or some sort of istism or whatever else as well. I mean, a lot of people said it, which was, you know, you want to play as characters that are good looking. You know, playing games is an escapism. You know. See, the FOMO I don't mind. I don't mind the FOMO in a sense, like, the fear of missing out is the thing where it's like, the issue isn't the FOMO itself, it's the cost of the FOMO. Right? When the FOMO might be like, you know, a couple of bucks or, you know, a couple of quid or anything like that, it's not too much of an issue. When the FOMO is like £90 plus, you then start having issues, and the economy isn't great anywhere at the moment. I mean, we're all in this random rate of high inflation for no reason whatsoever, and we're all trying to deal with just, like, going to work and getting paid and having food on the table. Like, I don't need to worry the fact that if I don't buy this game, somehow I'm, you know, scum of the earth. I mean, Jesus, and that's what you used to tell the kids at one point when they didn't turn around and do it. They just try and say, like, don't do that, you'll be a bad kid. Like, I'm not a child. Well, maybe I still am, I don't know. I haven't grown up for a while. I know. Yeah, we lost that. As soon as we came to this boss fight, I think we lost. Can I get one more run in? What's the time? Yeah, I can squeeze one more in. So yeah, I think this is where you like transfer it to PvP, and you can do PvP with this style of deck and stuff. So I'm wondering how that functions with this game overall, and like how interesting that will be. But then you can just discard it. And then... Nah, I'll take the survey later. Yeah, so you get the PvP league and stuff. And I think you get like 2v2 and 1v1s, which is kind of interesting. And you can do like a co-op stuff. And let's do the last character, as we've got the time as well. So let's get here. You have sins, wrath, envy, and pride. And what do we do? Gain 2 armor and 1 resilience at the start of battle. What is the resilience is the other thing. I assume increasing the armor gain. And we increase armor. No, shield and armor are 2 different things. Gotta remember that. Gotta remember that. This character seems really interesting. Let's go. Yeah, I've now lost my train of thought. At the start of your turn, game reflect. Yeah, let's get the reflect then. My brain had that momentary moment where I was just like, yeah, we're just gonna now break for a moment. 1, increase attack by 2. Increase the card's attack until the end of the battle. Huh. Yes, we'll take that Ascension. That seems actually kind of interesting. I always do. My brain just goes in a random direction, at which point it's just like verbal diarrhea. It all has to come out or I'm not going to be satisfied. One day I will learn to shut up, much to the dismay of my friends. Unseen power. Let's do that there then. But yeah, I am wondering if like a lot of places just learn to adapt very quickly. I mean, some places are already, they're adapting quite well, which is going to be kind of interesting and good. So let's put that there. We can get some defense as well. Ooh, weakened. But yeah, there are a bunch of stuff I'm kind of looking forward to though. Like next year, like I think got like Slay the Spire 2 coming out, which is going to be absolutely awesome when that finally does drop. And I think there's a bunch of other games on my list that are stuck on my wish list coming out like fairly soon as well for like next year. Like I think next year's gonna be another good year for gaming overall. It's just, you know, I hope no one causes trouble. I can't do anything there. I guess we're just defending them. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So put that on there. Okay, so that I assume is permanent bonus now? There's a stacking bug in the back of my brain that just keeps telling me to get bigger and bigger numbers. Oh, the indie scene, like this year alone, has just been ridiculous. Like, I don't think you could have probably a better indie scene anymore. That could actually be pretty interesting. Cursed Dagger. If enemy has 1% less HP. I mean, that's just free damage, which I can actually stack up as well. That's actually pretty good. Let's do it. I think my point when it comes to a lot of games is, like, do they have a really cool mechanic or something interesting that kind of sets them apart from everything else? So we've got there. 4 and 6. Okay, so it changes. Or 25 HP, but we lower the threshold. No. Or less. Up the threshold. Don't think that matters for what I plan to do with it anyway. Gets 2 off there. Or we can get 8. I think actually upgrading though that way would be a pretty good idea. Also the Ascension, increasing these, because we got the scaling damage on the darts, which is going to be actually pretty cool. Oh, I've been playing Ball Pit as well. I've got... I don't know, it's just something addicting about picking that game up and playing it at the moment. And there's just so much that you're learning all the way through it. And I think that's the way. It's like everything I've had to learn about the game has been completely organic in the fact that I've had to learn it. I haven't been told by someone that, you know, you can fuse these 2 items together. You can do this mechanic. You can do that. Remember, you can do this. Sorry, I probably gave someone PTSD from doing that. But yeah, it's yeah, upgrading this is going to be more important. So I have been loving Ball Pit. Between that and I was actually surprised, and I will admit when my bias does come to play sometimes, is I was very surprised. Oh yeah, the gameplay. It's one of the things because it reminds me of Loop Hero in the way, and that was also published by Devolver as well, which is also kind of where I can see some of the similarities between the 2 games come across, where it's just a little guy goes around a randomly generated circle map type thing, and you plop stuff in the map to build it up until you kind of beat a boss while collecting new items, collecting new places that are in a deck of stuff that you get randomly. And I can see some of the inspirations from that got pulled across, as well as then taking the inspiration from things like Vampire Survivors, for instance, which a lot of the inspiration taken out that, and then just put a thing. I think you can pick it up on a mobile device for like, I think maybe like £7 or something. I don't know if it's that expensive still. But yeah, it was just one of those ones I kind of remember. I think it was on Game Pass at one point as well. Maybe that's where I picked it up originally. But yeah, it was one of those ones where it's like I can see the inspiration from that game in Ball Pit as well, or Ball X Pit. I don't know what you want to call it. So yeah, if you have a defense plus 4 damage, we'll skip those. But yeah, as I was say, with games like that, or if you see them on sale for like a couple of quid, it's well worth it. Just for like passing the time on a mobile device, on a train, on a bus, or stuff like that. Because you can just like play around and then drop it again, which is kind of nice, and it works really well with mobile. I think that's the other thing as well, is like knowing where the target for like your players are going to be. Let's put that there, and I guess put that there. Enter. You know, it's like the aspect of just like, where are people playing your game? Where's the best aspect about it? Oh, three quid. There you go. Like I said, if you want to give up, I don't know, it's Starbucks cost more than that over there. That's what I mean. It's like you just pick stuff up like that instantly, and it's just like, why wouldn't you pick it up? I mean, you can. I think you can complete it like, I don't know, probably maybe in like about 4 or 5 hours in total. But there's so much to that game in sort of town aspect. The characters are kind of interesting as well to a certain point, because you kind of meet them throughout, and there's like a story behind it all of how game exists, basically, and why it came to be. I recommend it. Yeah, and there's loads of little kind of like hidden features as well. Is one of the things that's interesting. It's like they're even playing that game, and I have completed it, I think, if I remember correctly. But I still haven't found out all the stuff in there, sort of like the unique interactions and stuff, and how that affects like other things. So like, I think some of the cool things is you can put, you might as well spoil one thing, is you get like a vampire building, like a vampire castle, and you can put it next to a town, and it turns the town into an invaded like ghoul type city. So there's ghouls in it, so every time you do a loop around the map you have to kill them off, and after 3 loops it turns into an upgraded town that is protected by the vampire, which is kind of interesting and cool, and that's kind of a unique mechanic of it. And you can kind of see like the fusion stuff kind of come from that aspect into Bullpit. And this is what I was kind of like disappointed about when like Nintendo's, yeah, it really was interesting. But it's what I was disappointed about when Nintendo started their lawsuit and everything else about like game mechanics, and I was just like, why? Because like we all iterate on every idea going, that you're just going to lose money in the long run. Because if you can't iterate on your own idea, that means no one else can, so you can't take that iteration, iterate on it again. Prepared, resolved. Oh, so you gain temporary extra health when that goes up. Interesting. Slow cards. Nah, skip. I want to keep my deck as small. Fragile. Increased by 2 when you lose health, lose strength. Resilience increased by 5 at the start of it. Lose resilience. I don't like any of those, so we're just going to salvage them. Ah, it says increased strength could be useful. But yeah. I think it's one of those like hidden gems where if you pick it up for a small price, it's actually kind of interesting. You know. What have we got here? Banish. Increase resilience. Ah, that seems fine. The glyph. Take it. Didn't need much persuading. Nah, I enjoy it. I think I still got it on my phone now, and I do like replay it and delete all the data, then play through it again. I mean, at the moment though, I have done a naughty, and I re-downloaded Hearthstone, which yeah. I was just seeing what happened and like whether it's a thing, whether I should decide to return to it or not, and I was like, nah. I'm gonna play it for a little bit, go through, and then if I want to do videos on it, maybe, or something. I know. Don't. I sit there and I play League of Legends every so often, and I hate myself for that when I get the opportunity. You know, whenever I want to do some self-loathing, that's exactly what I do. I load that up. Choose a glyph. Okay, so that gets it now? Okay. I know. No one needs to tell me how bad that is. I already know. It's always hilarious though, because like, I remember with friends and playing that with friends, and like even now it's like, if you try and play it solo, you just feel like, yeah, I'm not a fan of myself. Okay, we're still taking damage, so let's put that defense up. We should be okay there. And then we can play this, and then I can ascend that attack, which now will deal more damage and get its bonuses, right? Oh no, I get the bonuses. Just I guess the bonus attack. Cool. Like I will admit, everyone has that game, that sort of like guilty pleasure that you know you shouldn't play, but you still do it anyway, because you haven't learnt your lesson from the first time. Ascension again. Let's keep going, why not? Keep increasing the attack. And gaining that armor rating as well. I will admit, like, I'm not speaking about the visuals of the character designs on this, but they look amazing. Like, I wonder how they design these overall. I mean, a lot of them do take that sort of, like, it's not, what's that? It's kind of like that period in China that they end up having. Like, a lot of the inspirations he's taken from a lot of probably the myths and legends around that sort of time period. I want to say like Edo period, but I think I'm confusing that with Japanese, with Japan from their history. Yeah, my foreign my foreign history isn't what it what it should be. Oh, cool. So they're actually swapping positions between each other by attacking. Oh, that's going to make 2v2 so interesting. See, this is when you know a game's been really thinking about what they're doing. But yeah, you can kind of see what I mean. The PvP is going to be so interesting with this. On just like getting a deck together, then playing it in a 2v2 scenario as well. Because not only have you, say, got to have like a good deck that you set up and say one you're single run with, or you play with both of you, like, don't know how that's going to work either, because like you're going to both go through together in a co-op campaign, and then you have to play together in the PvP bit as well after you've done that. But it would seem interesting. I think my only issue with it at the moment is like I don't know how if you can save decks or stuff, so equal. Let's reroll those. Gain attack equal to that, then banish. Ooh, poison. Poison attacked, increase poison of this card, banish. Damage, increase this card. A frenzy would be interesting as well. Yeah, let's take Humming Blow. We stacked up a lot anyway. Yeah, because I'm wondering now. One thing I've noticed, which I'm not too sure why it is. I think it's because of this. Is that I gain XP for Envy because I've got the cards that they would have from their deck, which is kind of a cool mechanic. So I actually do get like the other cards from the other characters available, and when you use them, you are getting XP for both of them, I assume, which is kind of a unique mechanic. I kind of like that idea where it's just like you get whatever's given to you and you kind of have to deal with it, and it's kind of like you're using the cards so it gives the XP levels and stuff, or you know, spreads it across them. I want the upgrade actually. I don't want the card, I want the upgrade. This is what card it is though. Banish, lose 1 HP. Chain. Actually, that could be pretty good. I mean, it's always the little things that I will tend to probably pick up on and go, hang on a minute, that sounds pretty cool. Should we do that and upgrade that? I want to upgrade that. And I have 27, I can't do any more. Move on. And this is kind of where like I will sit there and be like, oh, this one game had this really cool thing, and I'll be like recommending a terrible game to people because it had one really cool mechanic that was interesting. Like, I will admit, the Envy character they have in here really introduces the game a lot better, I think, than the Warrior, in my opinion, just because I seem to grasp that a lot quicker. Because they had lots of debuffs and the gameplay was slower, so I could understand what was going on. And I think a lot of games make that mistake, where they make the aggressive character always the very first one you learn with, and you're like, well, that doesn't really teach you anything. You want to play a more defensive style of character so you can grasp everything with like very minimal mechanics added to them. But anyway, Anger. And then play this. Doesn't have 20 less than 20 HP. Don't have any more on there. And then Celestial Dart as well. There's one. No idea what I did there. I think I played stuff twice. No, I didn't. Just did lots of damage. Okay, so that adds to that. So I do that, then play that, and put that on there. Yeah, so the glyph mechanic is something that's interesting, and I think we might as well address this now, is the fact that you get a card that is a glyph that can be attached to one of the spells, and it's attached there for the rest of the fight. So it's almost like a power, but you assign it to a particular spell that you use. And I like the way that they do the sort of that power system in this. It's a little bit more different from just being applied as a buff that's continuous. It's like you have to keep using the card to get the benefit. Or the spell in this case. So breaking that down, I think you could get some like really cool combos, and it changes depending on which spell you could put it in. So like I put it in this one, so I have to get this one to get the resilience, which will increase my defensive stuff. But then ordering becomes important because I put it here, only get 4, which I do need to put it there anyway. But I could put it here and then get the defense later. Let's increase that as attack as well. I've been playing it a lot. So like playing it on an offensive spell or a defensive spell in the turn order could be really important. Like it's one of the things where I think like even a quick look at this game only really touches the surface of just like exactly what you can get away with. Let's put that there. Let's ascend again. I do find it funny that Pride gets the Ascension. As a spell, that's kind of hilarious. Yes, the Sin of Pride is the one that can ascend. Okay, we are going to take a lot of damage. Oh, I should have been getting some rage. My bad on that. We're going to take a lot of damage from here. Echo 3 that was. Okay, that's 6 on there. He does not have less than that, but we can actually do that. And then put that on there as well. Increase the damage. It being 0 cast is really important, I think. Yeah, the breakdown of what you can do with this is going to be... So, I think the ease of access of a game is pretty much determined quite early on by like what you can do and how broken you can get the game. And I'm going to relate this to Dice Legends. I think that's probably a good thing to relate this to as a comparison of like the gameplay and stuff, because I played through that game. I did enjoy my time with it, and the only issue I had with it is the fact that I felt like I felt like I was scraping through stone just to get anything that felt like worthwhile to succeed with and do well with. Like, I felt like I had to get blood from a stone and sacrifice it to a god that doesn't exist yet to get a run that would feel like it was going really overpowered. Like, trying to do other recording later. Like, I had some good runs for recording-wise and, like, the early couple of bits, but the rest of them, no, didn't happen at all. Which is not maybe a fault of the game. Yeah, they're laughing about that. But I definitely feel like it was an issue in part of the design on just like how people are going to get their head around it. Like, it could be me, but then I know that other people that watched the videos also kind of said something similar. I think some of the comments are still on there as well, of just the fact that they felt like they struggled and they didn't really know why. And some of the mechanics just felt layered. Like, a lot of them felt like the difficulty of some of the enemies in like the early stages was really high for no reason. Actually, I should play that again. And the issue with something like that is it puts people off the game really early. Like, you come in to play a game, you want to be entertained, you want to be interested in it, and essentially just slaps you in the face and says you're rubbish at it. You know. And I play Dark Souls. We've all played Dark Souls. I'm used to that sort of treatment. What do we get now? At the start of your turn, deal 1 pure damage to a random enemy. That could be kind of cool. Start your turn, set the cost of all defense spells in your hand to 0 and banish them. That seems terrible. We'll take Radiant here. I like that. But yeah. If you're at full HP, restore 1 to your team, otherwise restore 2 HP. Oh, to the card. Okay, so you get some healing out of the way as well. To all enemies, increase armor 1 and defense spell on your timeline. Echo X. Okay, so we have X effects cards. That's also interesting. Advance double damage of any cube and a team banish. See, these team spells should be really good. Like, straight away I feel like they could be. Blizzard seems interesting as well. New timeline. I guess is that permanent? Let's take it. Even if I get use 1 use out of it, yeah, let's take it. And removal, shop, upgrade. Let's get there and go to the shop, see what's there. I probably do need to remove some spells, though. I guess we'll get rid of that. I don't need it. Kind of works, kind of doesn't, so. Here's what it is. Advance 6, reduce this by 3. Hubris. If you're full HP, increase the reflect. Fractured Ego. Then retrieve all. Discard 2 cards. If I have block, get +2 on that. Interesting. Maybe, maybe not. We'll move on. I think I've already got enough attacks and stuff anyway, so that's fine. Oh, 3 enemies. The Grey Witches, all 3 of them. Very interesting. Yeah, I think the designs look amazing though, like still. My only question is how they balance the co-op for this? Do the enemies just have more HP, or do they become more aggressive and have a different attack patterns and different spells? Because that is also something where... the thing is, it's like, stuff like this... It's just like... Yeah, of course. Like, why, what... I think the whole point is, like, some of the art styles, they're not meant to be... good look... Like, when it's stuff like this, like, it is meant to be grotesque and horrifying. Which shows that it's just got really good design. Like, genuinely is. Like, someone's put so much thought and effort into it. Although, I'm not too sure what I feel about it. So, I played against earlier this one, I think. Is it this one? Or one of them, and they put this stuff in my hand. He might have been cooking, but I'm more worried about what they were cooking to come up with this in their heads. So yeah, I think it was this one here I came up with, which basically inflicted this stuff on me. And I think that this stuff can be a bit of a problem because it stays in your deck and you kind of have to use it as a mechanic. But other than that, I don't know if it's an issue or if it's just me being a baby. So I'm going to go with it's being a baby first before we do anything else. Yeah. But like even the attacks and stuff just look amazing. Like when you slow it down and stuff, I just wish I could slow it down a little bit more just so I could really appreciate the art. That is my only thing. Okay, so I have that and weakness. So we do 25% less damage. So why do I only deal 0 with that? Okay, so we can put something on there. That's got there. We can do that for 2. Don't have defense. Am I going to suffer from my own hubris of not getting defense stuff? Is this what's going to happen? I think we just deal attack. Huh. I can actually just play that still. So looking at it, I think you can play more than 3 then. I thought you could only play 3 in one go. Maybe that's just me. So I assume you got it then. So there's no action limit based upon that stuff. There's my blocks, which I don't need anymore, so let's pick up that while we can. Increase that damage on there. And I guess pass the turn. All enemies lose 1 attack. Are they all... Oh, they're taking hits individually, so they always retreat and go through. That's actually kind of cool. I will admit that is kind of cool. I will defend, and then Blizzard, which means I should remove them all. That's a good pickup. Good old pass me, I made a very good decision with myself. Yeah, they've got to overbalance that for a 3v1. Not too sure if I'm overpowered or that was too easy, but I am going to say that that was maybe a little bit too easy, because I don't know what the scaling is. Punish. You receive damage from attacker thoughts. What is punish? Triggers whenever an enemy loses HP. Don't have full HP. Advance. If I have one of those... Oh. So if you have a blessing, you get an evade. Otherwise, give yourself a blessing, which basically negates debuffs. Decreases after 1, by 1 after. Okay, so it sticks around. So that's actually kind of cool. Repeat bonuses stacking. Yeah, Ward Off Evil seems interesting. Don't have that. Start with second turn. Copy something in the queue. So will ask me to basically put stuff in the queue. I like the fact you do get the runes, because I leveled up this, I actually get the runes from the other player, the other characters. Oh. Again. Oh, there we go. At the top. So, leveling up the character, once you reach level 1, you can switch the sin by clicking on the other banner. You mean I can play now as this one? Oh, that is so cool. So, because I've been leveling them up, I can switch mid-run. Oh, that is awesome. I did not know that. This is what I mean. You find new mechanics and you don't even realize what's going on. Yeah. So that's kind of like the whole thing of why you maybe want to level them up, so that you can kind of like switch between the run. So you get the starting deck, but it's not like the starting hero with the buffs that you get. So you get the blessings as the... Now, does that mean... So I assume that's then passive, then you gain that anyway, but still, that's kind of cool. Is there any bonuses for, like, getting more levels in the same character? No idea. But still. Yeah, like, this is what I mean, where it's like randomly you find something like that and you're like, hang on a minute. No, could you imagine that they do that with something like Slay the Spire? Like in the second one, where you can just like randomly switch between the characters and have a different passive halfway through the game. Or a run or something. Obviously, it would be a terrible mechanic for them in particular because the way that the whole thing works, but still. Because really all you're doing is changing the passive, so like the armor goes to Thorns. I think Thorns is underpowered though with that character with Envy. It's not that great really, because you got to take damage, and you don't heal very much. Remove a card. What do you want to remove? Ward of Evil seems interesting to get rid of. Blizzard saved me, so I want to kind of keep it around. Maybe the Curse Dagger, but I like that because it's 0 cost. Actually, let's get rid of one of the Celestial Darts. So I'm probably going to buy something from the shop and hopefully I'll like get something defensive or offensive. Ooh, attack. Retain while this is in your hand, increased by 2 whenever you lose. Block. Frozen Lightning, interesting. And then 6 damage, and on resolve, increased charge of a random card in your team's timeline. So, that's kind of cool. So, it means that other ones can stick around if I play this, which will keep stuff going. Unbridled Rage. See, these are the interactions where I think, like, yeah, the team play could work out so cool. Like, you get, like, 2 people coordinated with the right set of spells. Now, part of me's thinking... So, the PvP at the moment, I don't know how they're developing it, but if any future developer of this game does watch this video down the line, for the PvP aspect, I think they should probably make it like an... almost very similar to the auto-battlers and stuff do it, where you end up, like, building the deck as you go and you got to get so many wins, almost like an arena run or stuff like that for like other places where it's like you get like so many losses that you can have and you keep getting more cards the more further you get into it, and you can choose your deck based around those cards, so you get like packs of cards or something like that you could do, like a selection. Obviously balancing that could be an absolute nightmare, but that could be more interesting, and then you can plan everything around accordingly. So like you get a starter pack of cards on top of the base set, and that could be more effective in allowing people just to play the PvP side of things a bit better. And we'll keep it probably more fresh if like you get like a choice in the selection and stuff. But food for thought is a thing I will say. Food for thought. Let's remove another Celestial Dart. I only think I need one. Okay, boss fight, let's go. Boss Echidna, mother of rot and maiden of decay, has birthed many creatures writhing through the tunnels of the canyon. She feeds on anything foul and deadly, and leaves trails of venom and corrosive acid in her wake. Prepare to fight with all your might. Okay. They make all these things, and this is serious. I think these the developers in this are German developers as well. I'm thinking a lot of German games recently. But yeah, I think they've done amazingly. Okay, block. Can I increase the damage of that? No. That'd be hilarious. I guess I'll leave that. Corrosive Venom. Adds 2 Corrosive Venom to stack. And I'm assuming, yeah, I get poisoned now. Oh no, just I get that. Suffer. Discards cards. Vanish. Interesting. Interesting. I know, it looks amazing. Actually, saying that, something I haven't given appreciated because I have turned it down on my thing. I should probably turn it up a bit. Just turn it down on there. That music. I was saying. I know, it just makes it more ominous. ×2 on all enemies. Miasma. I have to put it into slow. Okay. Choose a card to discard. Just like that then. Guess that takes healing. Like, it is really making it ominous. Man, dude, I could use this for boss fights for D&D and stuff. Just have this going on in the background. Yeah, so actually, I'm going to turn the volume down a bit on my end, because I can't hear myself think. But yeah, that music, man, that is so cool. So in compared to the last areas we had, a lot of them had nothing going on in the background. But this one has a lot more going on. It still suffers from the sort of like blending into the center issue, which a lot of games fall traps into, where they take the center of the screen and there's nothing there. Because they try and draw your focus into it, which kind of works both to the advantage and the disadvantage as well. And I'm on low life. Should heal. So it's kind of like... It looks a lot better, but then there's this giant gaping area here in the center. Where it's like you almost want something in the center to drag your eyes to the center of the screen, then have a little bit more detail here and here, than less to the sides. Just because your important characters are going to be the center screen and the two characters here. So the eye-catchiness needs to be within this frame. Yeah. Don't worry about the caps, I don't mind. But yeah, it's something, it's like forced perspective and stuff. Like, you're trying to drag everything into the screen, almost suckering them in, and a lot of games do it because they want to keep your attention on the screen. I think we're just going to be dead to the poison, right? Yeah, we're going to lose poison. Oh, okay, I guess we're just done here. How delightful. And then turned. I put 4 poison on you. And I'm dead to poison. Oh, I'm not. Okay, so it is done by total. Use 1 HP per start. Okay. So that has to be always slow. Okay, so spells actually have a speed to them as well. That's kind of cool. I got a block, and then I assume I got to play that, and then I got to block again, because I was thinking I have issues with 39. Okay. Yeah. Okay, scaling's fine. It jumped up a little bit. Unlock new soul shard. I don't think we've actually unlocked anything because demo as well, but no, I've enjoyed my time with this actually. I'm gonna put this on my watch list. I think it's very interesting, and I think there's a kind of cool bits of lore and stuff that could be interesting actually about this game overall. Like, if they do add lore to this, it'd be kind of cool. I transfer to PvP. Ooh, okay, so we can save it and then use it there. Maybe I'll try that out as well. Maybe I will try that out also, if we can. No, we'll worry about that later. Can we? We unlocked it now. Fight for cosmetics. That's actually kind of cool. Putting cosmetics behind the PvP league. Keeps people engaged, gives them more stuff. Also a show of force as well for people who do really well on it. Yeah. I think this is a game to watch. I will admit that. I will admit that. Look at that character design. Even that as well. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call it here today. I got other stuff I need to get on with. If I don't, I am gonna run out of time and everything else as well. But yeah, Frothy, thank you very much for joining me. Yeah, the menu jump is a little bit kind of like, whoa, just like pop in like that as well. And yeah, I think they're sorting a lot of stuff out. We got loads of all these spells and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm planning to hopefully stream. At the moment, it'll be Tuesdays from about 6 p.m. GMT, or near the same time, wherever your regional local is. Doing the same Fridays as well, which can hopefully be a bit longer. And then hopefully Sunday, which I'm looking to do that on Kick, which will be hopefully like a bit more of a longer stream and doing a lot more chatting and stuff. I say I'm an armchair gamer. I chat, I play games, we will have a good time. But yeah, I mean, if there's any other recommendations for games you want me to check out, give my opinions on, stuff like that, or you just want to show off because you think they're cool, let me know. I'll have a look at them, and then I might do a quick look live, I guess we'll call them now. At least that'll be the main plan anyway. And yeah, and we'll just see how things go from there. I got to be more interactive, and this is going to push myself to do it, so that'll be. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Frothy. Appreciate you coming, and anyone else that's watching it later. And I will see you all in the next one.